Let's face it, the world needs speakers. The world needs messengers. The world needs heart-centered entrepreneurs like you, ready to take the stage, ready to bring people together in virtual events, to inspire people, to heal, to wake people up, and to transform lives. Speaking and taking the stage has given me everything. I used to be a high school teacher from Iowa, and now I'm training thousands of heart-centered entrepreneurs and speakers to take the stage all over the world.
Before Women Rocking Business, I was afraid to speak on stage and I didn't know how to monetize it. I didn't know where money was supposed to come from, so I just kind of shied away from the whole thing. But with what I've learned from Women Rocking Business, she's taught me how to be on stage, how to sell from the stage, how to have stage presence, all the points that I need to make sure that I hit to be able to monetize it. In the last year, I put on 3 events, one that made $200,000, another one that made $200,000, and another one that made $250,000 all in 1 year.
And when I took the stage and started doing regular workshops in the community, my business took off. And then I was enrolling patients in my program, and it enabled me within a few months to actually leave my hospital job. And this has changed everything, because now I have time with my children that I didn't have before, time with my husband, time for self-care, time to be creative in my business. So it's been transformative.
So as a result of learning these skills, I have paying clients who have signed up as a result of me speaking, and I've been paid to speak on corporate stages. And I was on the TEDx stage this year.
The skills that I've learned at Women Rocking Business to really own my voice and step into speaking confidently have allowed me to start a podcast, do regular Facebook Lives and Instagram Live videos, to get out there and start hosting talks. I have felt so completely supported and welcomed every step of the way with Sage and the whole Women Rocking Business team.
We're gonna spend 7 days getting you all the tools that you need to create and fill and rock your virtual events. You'll also learn the 10 hottest stages that you can get on and how to land keynote speaking gigs so you can endlessly enroll your ideal clients.
My gosh, the model works. I was able to fully rock the stage and create over $200,000 and have 20 women say yes to my program, which is more than I've ever had. Now that I have these skills, I can just see how I'm going to continually grow and expand a sustainable income so that I can really have this freedom lifestyle that I have been dreaming about for so long.
Virtual events are incredibly powerful, and it's really helped me serve on a much higher level. We were able to bring over 6,000 women into the program over these last 2 years. You know, it's all due to Women Rocking Business.
So after I found Women Rocking Business, I was really able to expand my Facebook group, and then from there to implement strategies and tools, especially virtual events and challenges that I could get my audience really participating. And I did a masterclass called Magnetic Brand Strategy, which was 5 days. It was a virtual experience, and that ended up bringing in, I believe it was 120,000 in sales. And I believe it was something around 74,000 in cash. And so it was my biggest launch, and I felt so excited and just honored and celebrated by the women inside of Women Rocking Business.
We didn't know when the pandemic hit if what we did in person that was so deeply transformational and life-changing could convert well to the online platform. And what we discovered is that it can be even more powerful for people to transform in the safety of their own homes and be able to integrate our work into their lives in a much more expanded and grounded way. And the tools we learned from Sage helped us just launch to a whole new level of success and impact and transformation than we ever thought was possible.
And if my clients and I can have results like these, so can you.
If your dream doesn't scare you half to death, if your dream doesn't feel like it's too much that you're ever gonna feel, then you don't have a dream, you've got a plan.
Mwah! Let's rock this. Yes, Yes, yes. Let's rock today. Papa yes in the chat if you're stoked to be here on the weekend with these incredible women from all over the world. Papa yes in the chat if you're excited to learn how to make authentic, confident offers and to see offers as the doorway through which you get to give your greatest service to the world. I am so excited to welcome every single one of you here. We're going to play the community welcome video and be right back with you. Okay, y'all, today is about making offers. Today is about you putting yourself out there. Today is about you getting even more confident with the results and the benefits and the transformation that you provide. I am so excited for today. I'm going to invite you to click on gallery mode in the upper right-hand corner, and I'm going to invite you to just take a look at the other women who decided to show up here on a Saturday, live in the flesh. Hello, Kiri. Hello, Gail. Hello, Nancy. Hello, Lorraine. Hello, Mariah's back. Dr. Rainbow's back. Hello, Becca. Tia's back in the house. We got Jenny Rain back in the house. Hello, Denise. I'm going to invite you to go ahead and take a breath and let yourself receive hundreds of other women here from dozens of different countries. For some of you, it's late in the day. For others of you, you got up early. We got Australia in the house. I think it's like 3 or 4 in the morning, depending on where you are. And I'm going to invite you to just land in this community. And if you see some woman on this screen who is clearly a miracle for saying yes to birthing this business, give that sparkle finger, give her some love. Y'all are incredible. I'm taking a little screenshot of you. Y'all inspire me so much. I am so excited to get you this information today because I'm curious, how many of you really do want to be able to make offers that are transparent and loving and from your heart? If that's true for you, unmute yourself and let's give a wahoo for offers being our greatest form of service. 1, 2, 3, unmute yourselves. Wahoo for this incredible sisterhood. That is the sound of a gaggle of powerful feminine leaders. It just doesn't get old. I can feel all of you. Raise your hand if you can feel each other. Raise your hand if you feel uplifted just by the power of all of these collective women saying yes. Thank you, thank you, thank you. This is what offers are about. Take a breath into that. This is what offers are about. Offers are about connection. Offers are about transformation. And your offer starts the moment your event starts. Raise your hand if you would agree. Your event is an offering. Whether you're speaking, making a video, doing a webinar, maybe you're speaking on stage live, your offering starts from the moment you connect with your audience. Raise your hand if you're willing to open up your heart more. Raise your hand if you're willing to care more. Raise your hand if you're willing to love your participants so much that you just do the offer, even if you're scared. You're just going to do it because that's how much you love them, right? There's going to be people who come into your room, into your event, into your world, and they're going to want to know what's next. Raise your hand if you've ever been afraid of offending people with your offer. Raise your hand if you've ever been afraid of offending people. I see the hands going up. But guess what? What if it was the most offensive thing you could possibly do to not make the offer? What if there are people who come into your world and they're wondering, I wonder what else she has because I don't want this to end today. Raise your hand if you know what I'm talking about. Raise your hand if you'd be willing to take that mindset shift or even just plant and sprinkle a little bit of that possibility in your consciousness. You know, I had an advocate in my business over the years. He wasn't my advocate at first, but he became my advocate. And it was my dad. It was my dad. And my dad was my best friend. When I first launched my business, my mom kind of judged me. She's like, what is she doing? I thought she was going to be a school teacher. And my dad just waited. He just kind of waited to see like, what's happening over there? My dad was a professor of library science. He was an author. He was a go-getter. He was an amazing teacher. He taught people how to be librarians. When he retired, he volunteered for the hospice service. He volunteered for the crisis line. He was the best listener I've ever met. And he inspired philanthropy in me. When I was little, my dad used to give me $2 bills and he'd teach me a little bit about money. And when I made my first offer from Stage, I was so scared and freaked out that I cried when I talked to him about it. I called him in tears and he said, you know, you just have to keep putting one foot after the other. When I got my book deal from Hay House, you can imagine, because he was an author, he was the first one I called. And I'll never forget how he sounded on the other end of the line. He was so proud of me. And when I started making $1 million offers and I started raising hundreds of thousands of dollars for philanthropic causes, that's when my dad really got it. He was like, oh, this thing that my daughter is doing is in integrity. He came to one of my events. He talked to my clients. And that's when he was really on board. My dad died suddenly in the middle of COVID, really tragically, even though he was really healthy. And the morning after he died, it was the most spiritual experience I've ever had in my life. I was laying in my bed having a dream about him and we were dancing. And this song started playing in my dream. And as I woke up, this most beautiful song I had ever heard was playing on the Sonos speakers under my bed that hadn't played music for 2 years. It was so obvious that this was my dad coming to let me know that he was okay and that I was okay. A few weeks ago, I had a rough few days in my business. I had something unexpected happen. And it was one of those mornings that I just really needed some support. And I went down to the beach and I was dancing to my typical dance music. And I don't know how it happened, you guys, but that same song that came on my Sonos speakers that morning came on my earbuds. How do these things happen? And this is a true story, you guys. I'm dancing. I'm thinking about my dad. I'm thinking about all of you. I was thinking about the fact that this launch was coming up. And I looked down at the sand and there was a $2 bill. So you can't make this stuff up. And here's what I have to say to all of you. My dad would have been so proud of you. I would have told him about Eva Lesse, right? Our sister who yesterday had a financial breakthrough on behalf of all of us, who's migrated from the Dominican Republic to New York City, who grew up in poverty and now supporting people on a path of freedom and is helping herself and others open up to more abundance so she can change the world. My dad would have been so proud to hear about you. Nicole admitted to some of us that she's survived MS and is now here to support women professionals to get out of their heads and to transform stress into impact and a thriving, balanced life. And Kirsten, we heard from Kirsten, who grew up in East Germany when it was occupied by Russia, spent weeks in a little apartment as a little girl, holding her head out of the window, looking at the sun, saying, if I ever get out of this apartment, right, I want to teach people about freedom. My dad would have been so proud of you, every single one of you. Pop a yes in the chat if you're proud of the women who have made their way here. Pop a yes in the chat if you're willing to continue to open to the truth that there's something bigger happening here. Pop a yes in the chat if you're willing to claim that you're here for a reason. Not just here in this challenge, but here in your life for a reason. That there's something so much bigger than we know. And that regardless of how complicated your relationship was with your parents or is with your parents. And I will tell you, I had a complicated and oftentimes painful relationship with my father. I gave you the good parts. Are you picking up what I'm laying down? But my relationship with my dad, now that he's on the other side, is better. And nobody ever told me that that was possible when a parent transitions. It's less complicated. It's more about source. It's more about spirit. It's more about the lineage of my spiritual ancestry. So pop a yes in the chat if you'd be willing to keep doing the work to forgive, keep doing the work to open to the universal father and the universal mother who are cheering you on, and that you're standing on the shoulders of so many who have walked before you, and that you are an answered prayer. Think about your grandmothers and your great-grandmothers and your great-great-grandmothers. They didn't have the choices you have to make the kind of impact you get to make. You are an answered prayer. And so I am just so honored and so excited to continue to be with you in this challenge, continue to support you however I can. Nice deep breath, everybody. Reach your arms up overhead. We are going to make room for learning. I feel the love. I feel the open hearts here. And I'm going to pull us through the eye of the needle and share a little bit about where we've been and where we're going. Tuesday and Wednesday, we supported you to craft your message and your talk. Thursday and Friday, we supported you to really get out there on video and really speak to enroll clients. Today, we're talking about making hot offers. Tomorrow, we're going to be sharing some tips to get booked on other people's stages and keynote speak. On Monday, we're going to share the keys to fill virtual events. We just added an extra training because so many of you have had your hands up. I don't think I've ever done these trainings and have had so many of you with your hands up wanting coaching. So we're going to do an extra training on Wednesday just to get a bunch of you coaching and get you in touch with your particular speaker superpower, visionary, motivator, truth teller, nurturer, and how to really use those when you go to sell. And then of course, Thursday is the Thought Leader live stream. And we want to invite you to get signed up for that if you haven't already. So just head over to womenrockingbusiness.com/thought leader, and you can absolutely invite your friends. I want to remind you that we are playing in a visibility video contest and that you can still play. The CTAs are due tomorrow night. Okay. So I saw many of you getting caught up last night and this morning. I was so proud of those of you getting caught up. I know some of you are planning on getting caught up this morning, making your videos, posting your talk title. And I was so touched by your gamification prompts, and we'll pull a couple of flash prize winners for today. If you are watching us on Facebook and you want to be on Zoom to take advantage of the Q&A at the end of the session, just join us at womenrockingbusiness.com/Zoom. And I also want to remind you that the tools that we're teaching you today have everything to do with universal principles, that we can rest into the universal principles to really remember in the direction of the East, to make your vision bigger than your to-do list. In the direction of the South, that element of fire reminds us to take action, massive action, if we want results. The direction of West and the element of water reminds us that making money is our spiritual birthright. And the direction of North and the element of Earth reminds us that we need structures up underneath our gifts and our talents. My dad used to say, your talent is only going to take you so far. You cannot rely on your talent alone. I think he was really right. And I thank him for that mindset and that belief that I was going to have to apply myself and be courageous and take action if I wanted my talent to actually go somewhere. Pop a yes in the chat if you're willing to stretch yourself and take action and not rely on your talent alone, although many of you are so talented. And the structures of our talks and our offers that we put up underneath our ideas make such a difference. So don't forget to grab your workbook. Your workbook is in the Rock the Stage Facebook group in the guides section. We can pop that link for the workbook in the chat as well. And I want to start by really sharing that there's some essential questions that you want to ask when you're creating your offer. You want to be asking questions honestly so that you're creating the best possible offerings possible. You can ask yourself things like, would I attend this training? Like, would I attend the training that I'm putting together? Am I putting enough good stuff in there that I would actually attend? You guys picking up what I'm laying down, right? Like, one of the things that this does is that when you align and create a training that you'd want to attend, create an offer that you'd want to be a part of, what do you think is going to happen to your belief in that offer? Is it going to go up or down? What do you think? It's going to go way up. And that's where we want you. We want you aligned with the value of what we're providing. And to ask yourself the simple question, would I buy? Would I buy this thing? And that's going to help you believe in your stuff, because I think you're finding out this week, whether you're here for the first day today or whether you've been with us for several days now, I think some of you are realizing how awesome and how needed you really are. So take a breath into the energy that you have an intention of really changing lives. Can you feel that intention that you have of really changing lives? Place your hand on your heart if it feels right. Take a breath into that intention. And what if you were to fully trust that intention? Like, your intention is to change lives. And if that's your intention, that's where your energy is going to go. Energy flows where intention goes. And so your offer starts with your own alignment, opening your eyes, tuning into the other women here. I have an incredible woman that I want to introduce you to who's going to come and talk about offers today, because she has gotten to be one of our most effective offer makers from stage. Somebody that shows up and kind of rocks the house when you least expect it. She blew me away the first time she got on stage. She's got a spunk and an authenticity and a pizzazz that is magnetic. Her name is Erica Neely. She's a coach and trainer for Women Rocking Business. She knows that leading online and making offers is at the fundamental core about service. And she has stepped onto stage and really rocked her leadership in such a big way. Erica Neely, welcome to the virtual stage. Give her some love in the chat.
Thank you so much, Sage. You are so incredible, and you are dropping some serious wisdom today, and I feel your heart so open, and I'm so glad you're there because I am meeting you here today. And you're right, talking about offers truly is one of my favorite things, because this is how you make that lasting transformation, right? How many of you, hands up, are ready to make lasting transformation in people's lives? You don't want to just inspire from stage, but you want to see them actually making big changes in their lives. And I just want to share a little story about offers and authenticity and my self-worth, okay? Because what's true is I grew up in a small town in Nebraska as a little lesbian. I knew since I was 4 years old that I was in love with women. And what's true is that the world told me that who I was at the core wasn't okay. I was bullied, and I kept that in silence because I had so much shame about who I was, that I went through years of that, just shouldering that, thinking that, you know what, I deserve this, right? And it took me years when I was finally on my own personal healing journey to realize that maybe I actually had something to give, that maybe who I was at the core was what the world needed, right? How many of you can relate to that? That you've been shamed for who you are, that you've been told you're too much, that you've been told you're not enough, right? Well, I am with you today to tell you that that part of you is your superpower. And when you really tune into that and you align yourself with a community that sees you for who you are, that is when you get to make the big change. And 5 years ago, when I met my wife at a leadership conference and she brought me here to Sage and Women Rocking Business, it was the first time in my life that I felt home. Completely. My whole essence, every part of me. And I knew that when I was in that room with Sage and team, that I really had to make a big change and come forth, because the world was calling my message and I needed it now. How many of you have a message that needs to come through now, that it needed to come through yesterday, that you just cannot wait for it because it is bursting through your chest? I can absolutely relate to that 100%, right? And it's through learning these exact same tools that I created a program for my community, for the LGBTQ community, that I got to support couples who came in who were barely touching, let alone could look at each other. And then they reach out to me 4 years later and say, Erica, you saved my marriage. We're having a child now. I actually had some of them at my wedding, and Sage got to meet some of my clients. It was so special. And this is what's so amazing is if I was too afraid to give my offer, then these lives never would have been changed. So my invitation for all of you today, as you listen to this training, is to tune into what is your gift? What is your message? What are you here to do? And get out of your own way, because the message that wants to come through you, right? You are the bone. That message is the marrow. So let it move through you and really open up. Okay. So pop a yes in the chat if you are ready to learn about how to make a hot offer. Let's see those yeses. Yes, 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 yes. I'm ready. Awesome. So beautiful. Well, let's jump in. So get your workbooks ready. And we're going to talk about the first thing that's really important when you are making a hot offer. Jill, would you mind popping up that slide? Yes. So this number one is establishing the gap, where your clients are and what they need. This is so important, because if you want to help people make transformation, they need to see the cost of the thing that keeps happening again and again and again in your life. How many of you have had someone really take a stand for you to make big transformation in your life? Pop a yes in the chat, right? This is really what you're doing here when you're establishing your gap. It's like you're helping them open up to see the possibility, right? This is what you're doing. So let's go ahead and get that first part. What do you most want and what's in the way? This is huge. Tapping them into that juicy, big vision, right? And then asking them what's been getting in the way, right? I see that you want this, but you're not there yet. So let's talk about how we can get you there, right? That's what I mean by saying exposing the gap, because I'm hearing you say you want this, and then I'm seeing that there's something different, right? So important. Then the next part is, let's go ahead and get that up. Awesome. Let's go ahead and do the next part there. What are you currently struggling with? So important. This is huge. You need to get really in touch with what are their struggles, right? Because a lot of people, they don't even realize that this is a story, right? Until they have someone there to wake them up. And that is what you're doing. You are here to wake them up. This offer is that opportunity for them to really step into the possibility, that paradigm shift, right? And let's go ahead and get that very next important question. This is so important, right? How can I help you? Right? This is why you're all here, because you want to help. So don't forget to bring this forth, right? So create this with this in mind when you are creating your offer, right? And we're going to talk about how benefits sell, but it is the tell, but the benefits are what sell, right? So this is an opportunity to really have people's lives transform, right? And they're going to invest through you. Just like I was talking about how you are the bone, and the message is the marrow. This is that opportunity, right? They get to transform through your support. And the amazing thing is that when they enroll with you, they get that support, you're going to make money. This is so amazing. I remember when I got that first client and I saw the zeros in my bank account go up, it was the best feeling in the world. And I wasn't just making money, I was getting to support people, right? So how many of you, pop a yes in the chat, if you not only want to be supporting people, but you want to be supporting people and make good money doing it, right? That's what we are stand for here. And one way you're going to make those dollar bills and make that big support is through this 6-figure offer tip. Sage, you want to go ahead and share it with these amazing women?
Yeah, before we pop the slide up, I want to just get a little survey going. How many of you, when you tap into the energy of making an offer, maybe you've seen other people on stage making their offers, maybe you've started making your own offers, maybe some of you have mixed feelings about making offers. How many of you feel like you're going to have to convince people or be someone other than who you are? Raise your hand if that's ever come up for you. Like you feel a little bit like, oh man, I'm going to have to like convince people or be salesy, or I might offend people or be someone other than who I am. So what if I told you that I have a hack that can actually shift that mindset immediately? Would you want the hack? You do. I see nodding. You do want it. All right. We'll give it to you. When I learned this mindset shift, I think it changed my offers incredibly. You know, in addition to knowing how to make an offer and how to really craft my talk, and in addition to getting clear on what I was selling, this was one of the mindset shifts that I think like made the biggest difference for me. And that is that when you commit to your potential client's transformation, you don't have to convince. Your job is really just to commit, y'all. What if your job was just to commit to your potential client's transformation rather than trying to convince? Take a breath into this. Because when you commit fully to your clients or future clients, or just to helping people and getting paid for it and getting paid well for it, you will never have to spend another moment having to overextend with convincing energy. And when I say commit, I don't just mean, oh yeah, Sage, yeah, I committed. No, I mean going all in. Are you picking up what I'm laying down? You get your energy, you get your body, you get your soul on the playing field. You're willing to do everything you can to help your clients get results, that you're truly standing for their success. If you're taking notes, write that down. I am willing to stand for their success without having to convince. In fact, too much convincing energy. What do you think? Too much convincing energy. Is it going to be magnetic or repelling? Pop it in the chat. Which one? Yeah, super repelling. Raise your hand if you felt the trainers and I just standing for you, the conviction that we have over the last few days. Like, we are all in. It doesn't mean we're staying up all night. Nope, it doesn't. It doesn't mean I'm giving up my morning practice. Nope, I'm not going to give up my morning practice for you. Not going to do it. But am I going to go all in? Abso-fucking-lutely. Are you with me? And that is what needs to happen for every single one of you, right? That you're not dipping your toe in the water of this business, that you're getting all in. It doesn't mean that you sacrifice. It doesn't mean that you overburden yourself. It doesn't mean that you go codependent on us, right? It means that you're willing, though, to be interdependent with your potential clients. Raise your hand if kids need their parents to help them learn to walk. Raise your hand if you know that kids actually need their parents to help them learn to walk, right? But if we dragged them along, they would never learn. One of the biggest mistakes I see entrepreneurs making is they're doing one or the other. They're trying to drag their clients along, or they're not giving their clients quite enough help and they're not really engaging enough. You have to be willing to get in there, be their guide, care about them enough, and even co-regulate with them a bit so that they can believe in themselves. Raise your hand if you're picking up what I'm laying down. Raise your hand if you're willing to be that mentor who genuinely cares, who's willing to co-regulate with our clients long enough for them to launch, right? It doesn't mean they're texting you in the middle of the night. It doesn't mean they're overly dependent on you, but it means that you are there for them. Raise your hand if you can see that this is why, this very thing I'm talking about now, this is why people say building a mentorship-based business is the ultimate spiritual transformation. This is it, y'all. This is a spiritual pinnacle. This is where you actually get to look in the mirror and decide whether you're showing up for humanity, whether you're showing up for service. And it is the best feeling in the whole world when you give yourself over and you show up and those clients are coming to you saying, I wouldn't be where I am without you. This is the ultimate reason why we're here. I can tell we're feeling it together. Nice deep breath into that. So when you start talking about what you do, when you start talking about your program, when you start talking about the service you want to provide, and even if you don't know what that is yet, that's okay. We can help you with that. But one of the big take homes here when we're talking about offers is that, just like Erica said earlier, features tell, but benefits are what sell. Features tell, but benefits are what sell. And I've seen a lot of beginners make the mistake to lead with features. I've seen a lot of beginners make the mistake to go, they'll come to me and they'll go, oh, Sage, What do you think? Should I offer 3 sessions a month or 2 sessions a month? Should I offer 2 private sessions and a group session? And then like, what do you think I should charge? And I'm like, okay, I love you for all those questions, but let's look at this through another lens. Rather than being so quick to freak out about how many sessions you're going to offer and whether you do a retreat with your clients or not, we have to lead with benefits first. Pop a yes in the chat if you're with me on this. Who cares how many sessions you get if there's not a transformation tied to the end result? Would you guys have cared whether this challenge was 5 days or 9 days if you're going to learn to rock the stage? Raise your hand if you're way more here because you're rocking the stage, right? That's why you're here. You don't really care if the sessions are 30 minutes or an hour. It's like, we're getting you a transformation. That's what we're here to do. That's the mindset I want to invite all of you into, to really think about what is the transformation you provide. If somebody works with you for 8 weeks or 3 months or 6 months or maybe a year, are they going to build confidence in themselves? Are they going to be able to trust themselves again? Are they going to be able to make clear decisions? Are they going to be able to talk confidently to their partner? Are they going to feel the self-worth to be able to go out there and open their hearts and date again after heartbreak and believe in love again? That's what matters. That's why people invest. They do not invest because of how many sessions you include. Do you need to include some sessions? Yes, you do. But features tell, and benefits are the things that sell. So Erica, let's just go through a few more examples here.
I love this, Sage. This is so powerful. This is really solid gold. I hope you all really are just breathing this in. Okay, so I'm going to talk about features. This is what features look like when we talk about this. Features tell. So we've got 2 coaching sessions per month. You're going to get a really cool workbook. You're going to get an awesome community. You're going to get a retreat at Amazing Retreat Center. Now, how many of you, does that sound amazing? Like, I want a cool workbook. I want to go to an Amazing Retreat Center. These are all really yummy things, right? It's not like these aren't great things that you're telling people, but what's really going to get people in the door when they are struggling is the benefits that they're going to receive. Like, you'll graduate from the program in 6 months from now with more confidence in your desires. You're going to have the clarity to ask your boss for a raise, and not only ask, you're going to get it, right? Now that is one hot benefit, right? That's a hot result. And the last one here is we'll demystify how to date online so you can find your soulmates. I would say that's pretty big, no matter how long you've been single, right? Do you see the difference between the features and the benefits? Type a yes if this is landing for you. You're really seeing the difference between the features and the benefits. Hell yes. Yeah, I love that. So good. I'm so glad you're getting. Well, I just want to share a little story about this to really help it land. So the first retreat that I led for LGBT couples was at this amazing, intimate retreat center in Hawaii. It was so beautiful. And as amazing as that retreat center was, it really was the bonus of what I was offering, right? My clients, the couples, were there because they were ready to shift something in their relationship, right? They were ready to show up and be a better partner. And that's really what got people in the door, because they were ready for change, because we weren't given a guidebook on how to be in a loving, authentic, healthy relationship. You know what I'm talking about? Y'all know what I'm talking about right there. So that's what got people in the door. And that retreat was just the icing on the cake. And when I stood in that, right, it helped me get more yeses. So this is an opportunity for you to really stand knowing that what you are offering will get people results. And when you have a structure to lean into, you can give a really powerful offer, then you are really going to start making that transformation that I know that all of you want. And I want you to listen in about Sage's book launch, because this is how you do it. This is how you lean into structure and also your own amazingness to make big impact.
Well, I remember when I first started my business, like telling people like, oh, I want to write a book. I want to land my TEDx talk. Raise your hand if you have some of those same desires, get on stage. Maybe some of you have already written a book and maybe it didn't sell as many copies as you'd like it to sell. And I remember one of my mentors told me, don't get so hung up in all the bright and shiny objects of mentorship businesses. Stay grounded, stay humble, Stay with the basics. Get clear on how you're helping people and let the other things arise from that. And I remember hearing the wisdom and the humility in what she was telling me. And she has this awesome life. She lives in Arizona on this ranch and has horses and, works with her husband and travels all over the world. And I remember being like, I think I can trust her. Like she's living the life that I'd really like to live. And I started getting really clear on how I wanted to help women start businesses that was different than the typical way of starting businesses. I started getting really clear on the fact that I wanted to align women's business with women's values of collaboration rather than competition, generosity rather than scarcity. And I started actually doing it and serving clients and launching a group program and growing my list. And when the time was right, I met Greg Braden, who's become a good friend, and he heard about what I was doing and he saw the picture that you've seen of me and the women in one of my rooms and the pictures of the beach circle. And he said, oh man, you have to write up a book proposal. Now's the time for you. And I'll put it in front of my agent at Hay House. And that's what happened. And Hay House picked up my book and the book results were really clear, right? We'll pop up the slide. You can build your business in just 12 days a month or less without hustling. You can launch an entrepreneurial endeavor in a way that aligns with women's values. You can take the stage, make great money, make a big impact. And there is no possible way that Hay House would have paid me to write my book if I hadn't taken the time to get clear, to serve clients, to really ground into what is this transformation about. Now I had case studies to put in my book. I had testimonials and all the doors opened without me having to force them open, right? The invitation to jump on the TEDx stage, the invitation to speak on major media, to interview some of my mentors that I had been, following for years, sit down with Reverend Michael Beckwith, sit down with Marianne Williamson. And so my question to you, and this is an important question, is what are the results and benefits that you want to offer? And it's okay if you don't totally know yet, if they're still falling into place, but what do you know about the specific results and benefits that you want to offer? Pop them in the chat. I want to see a few of these. And then in a moment, I'm going to bring a couple of women up who have been doing this work for the last, some months. A couple of women, I want to invite them up to really talk about what the journey has been like, making their own offers for the first time, how that's been for them. So if that's you, Lisa or Sandy, make sure your hand is up so we can find you. We're going to bring you up in a moment. I'm really excited for these women to hear from you. Yamila says, clarity and confidence for moms. Yamil McBride. Beautiful, Yamil. I love that. And I don't know if it's helpful, and I might not be saying your name right, but when you think about serving parents, one thought I always have is that as much as mamas might want confidence, mamas will also oftentimes invest if they think it's also going to help their kids. So Yamil, you might want to think about helping mamas feel empowered to raise confident kids and step into their own confidence, right? Because when those two things happen together, that can oftentimes be even more marketable. These are so good. Do you see any others, Erica, that we should